speeding race. Upon them I yet take your place, page type of firm. Will I worthy or grace, as long's my arm.
Tonight on Bits, the Bouncer. At last, Bits gets another glimpse at this overdue title.
Zombies, ancient cities, hokey music. It's House of the Dead. Wrong. Type or die. And finally, Bits gives a voice to the people who keep this industry in Champagne, the gamers.
Since time began, man has picked up rock, sword, and nuclear armament against his fellow Homo sapiens. And then, of course, he's pissed himself as he's reduced his enemy's napper into a bloody, chunky pulp of skull fragments and brain matter. Face facts, all you hippies and New Age crystal gazers. No amount of listening to Enya is going to alter the bloodletting, so burn all your porpoise mating CDs and look into the real future in Mechwarrior 4. Talk about sequelitis. Vengeance is number 16 in the Battletech series, leaving some credence to the argument that across the generations, boys still like their toys. It's a shame there's not a beer-drinking, cow-tipping simulation. Bad guys, good guys, conspiracy, family civil war, big robots, and faraway planets.
I thought these guys were supposed to be tough.
Instead of cleaning your room, you're cleaning up a galaxy. How original. If you're looking for depth, go take a long walk off a short pier. If you're looking for irony, listen to Alanis Morissette. You'll probably find more there than in here. Still, as you're pursued at high speeds by your dim-witted enemies, you'll discover that, as usual, the plot doesn't matter. The purpose is to win, whatever. I mean, really, would you actually notice if you turned your PC on to play Noughts and Crosses and not to save the world? Probably not, because you are a control freak with a delusion of grandeur, and you won't go downstairs for your dinner until you've succeeded. Mechwarrior 4 feeds into that id-feasting formula and discards the strategic elements of its previous 15 generations in favor of adrenaline-pumping high-tech fisticuffs. In single-player, the inconsequential story leads you by the nose through 30 missions across 15 maps, including a city. But don't let pangs of guilt stop you from wreaking some whoop-ass on the architecture with your mighty metal feet. This is fantasy after all, and best you get it all out here than in, Glasgow, for example. In terms of control, I recommend a very good joystick or an acute sense of spatial awareness if you don't want to get your fingers in a twist or break your keyboard on a passing stranger's head as you chuck it out the window in frustration. You control the extremely fast forward and backward motions, the left and right turning apparatus, the torso swivel function, zoom, and all the guns. More often than not, you'll discover that your legs are going one way and your head the other. And then you've also got to manage a coolant system that overheats faster than a clapped-out Chevy. You can't gaffitate the tubes of a dying mech. Nor, apparently, can you shoot the legs out from under your enemy, which is a real shame. The design could have done with a bad guy life gauge to let you know just how much ammo to pump out before the baddies explode. But then again, this is number 16. Doesn't look like they'll be stopping now. Future. It's all war, but you can get your practice in right now with Mechwarrior 4. It stands up pretty good in single player as an action-packed shooter, but it should kick some serious ass in multiplayer. But it doesn't have an ounce of Braveheart in it. It's Mechwarrior, not Mechwarrior or Machwarrior or Muckwarrior or any of that shite. Jesus! You bloody jocks! Get your ears cleaned out, would you? God!
Miss Moneypenny was seriously undervalued. Beneath her drab exterior and those mumsy clothes lay what was perhaps potentially the deadliest of assassins. Yes, all that she was missing was her own super spy gizmo. Well, M didn't do it, so Sega has stepped in to even the score with Typing of the Dead. Yes, that's House of the Dead minus the light guns. There's a new deadly weapon in town, and it's called the Alphabet. So move over, Bond, because here comes Babs with her fleet fingers, killer keyboard, and portable backpack. Dreamcast.
Which training session would you like to try first? Okay, mastering the normal keys. This is a chart with an analysis of your typing speed. These are the keys that you are bad at.
Never underestimate a secretary again, and never assume that learning can't be fun. This is one to get that old games ruin your mind debate raging again. Is it a good thing or isn't it? You're learning, but you're blowing chunks out of the undead in the process. Who really gives a shit? This has to be one of the best games I've laid my hands on in time. Whoever said the pen is mightier than the sword was right. Or at least, the keyboard is deadlier than the light gun. The arcade and original modes are pretty much exactly as you find them in the old game, bar the fact that you have to type or die. You get rewarded for speed and accuracy, except with a bonus bar in the top left corner. Defeat your opponent and the gauge increases until you get an extra life. Keep a sharp eye out as well for random letters. If you're quick enough, you'll receive items that can be actioned with your function keys. Not all are beneficial though. Pick up an alien dictionary and spelling goes out the window, which might be handy if you're just punching the keyboard in frustration.
I don't want to die.
Further into the game, you'll come against whole Dear John letters, multiple choice questions that demand thought before you type. But most of the time, you'll find yourself just up against a random thought generator with nuggets of wisdom such as nasal wig, used cows for sale, or the all-time classic, all I do all day long is look at balls. The only problem is you'll need a hardcore keyboard to take all that bashing. Zombies coming at you, even those wielding red rubber hammers, have a tendency to crack your composure. Learning to touch type is the only solution. Top typists taking on flesh eaters can only have come out of Japan. Brilliant! And as the survival guide says, high scores lead to wage rises, so don't forget to put it on your CV. It's out now for PC and coming soon on your DC. On this week's Shop Shelf, we've got some tasty and tantalising titles for under a tenner. So why don't you scrabble down the back of your sofa and check to see if you can't scrape together enough cash to get something better than Connect 4. Ooh.
One of the first releases on the original PlayStation, Ridge Racer is the great-granddaddy of modern driving games. Okay, so it doesn't have a multiplayer, the graphics are pretty poo, but when you play it, know that you're fiddling with your gaming forefathers.
Another classic, but this time a beat-em-up, Tekken. They say you should respect your elders, but it's more fun to beat the crap out of these old-age PlayStationers. Old fighters never die, they're just put in the bargain basement bin. But even for under a tenner, you might want better visuals. The bits that should be bulging are disappointingly flat. And no, we're not Tekken the piss.
You lose.
Air Combat, a vintage combat flight sim. Fluffy little clouds hiding stealth bombers, MiGs and F-22s. It's time to polish your helmet, stick on your Ray-Bans and drop your load. It might have been a classic in '96, but hey, so what? Take that.
There's no fear like no fear downhill mountain biking to get a few skid marks going. Not exactly a classic, more one that never really got up enough speed to feel the warm wind of success wafting through its hair. Be brave, take off your stabilizers and ride the mountain bike.
Go.
2 years on and Colin McRae is still being shouted at by Nicky Grist. Yes, it's a rally sim, and yes, it features Colin McRae. Special appearances by mud and trees. It's fast, it's skiddy, and it's out there for under a tenner.
And what would you into?
Angry, frustrated, seasonally disaffected,
Or just plain insane.
use our shoulders to cry on.
Confide in us.
We're here for you, man.
The bit agony aunts are listening.
And this week's Star Psycho certainly does have a bunny to boil.
Indeed. Dear Bits, I am an obsessive-compulsive white-collar worker. I can't help thinking about taking over the world, and I'm afraid that these urges will get the better of me after I finish my new copy of Kesson. Can you recommend anything to curb my megalomaniacal tendencies? Please help. I can feel I'm near the edge and the demon inside is awakening. Love, a control freak.
Dear Freak.
If real-time strategy in a Japanese setting is your thing, then we've got some good news for you. Although Kesson 2 won't be coming out until next year, it is in production. In the meantime, why don't you check out the forthcoming Mongol Invasion expansion pack for the excellent Shogun Total War.
Now, we actually don't have any footage for that, but to assuage those frenzied nerves, we're going to show you a clip of gratuitous cutscenes from Kesson to keep those demons at bay.
It's to hell! Take this! Take this!
We all understand that feeling of pent-up frustration, as does Dave here.
Okay, my problem, third-person games. That when you turn around corners, you go into the walls. That's rubbish. The other one is that when you turn around... Shit. Oh, wow. You can't see the enemy because you're too busy looking at Lara Croft's arse.
Thanks, Dave. Now, if you have something that really winds you up about the video game industry or simply want to have a good old-fashioned bitch on national TV, then just send in a video of you voicing your thoughts to us here. For specific instructions,
Dave,
on how to do it properly,
Dave,
Then go to our website at www.forlater.com/bits where you can learn how to do it properly.
Dave. Coming up, Booth will be getting her fingers all fishy. Ugh.
Hello and welcome back to McBits. Coming up, we'll be taking a look at this week's Super Choice FMV, The Bouncer. And of course, there's that competition at the end of the show.
But first, here's Booth with Aquarium.
First, there was Billy Bob Bass, a singing fish nailed to a plank of wood on the wall. Now, the domestic aquarium has become the essential piece of urban home accessories, with the likes of the Gallagher brothers employing huge fish tanks for their easy-to-process visuals and nice, soothing, fishy sounds. Well known to some in the rock fraternity to relieve those painful come-downs. Oh yes, fish fanaticism is upon us. Even Troy McClaw's acting career went steadily downhill following a scandal of the fishy variety. Anal Simpsons fans, you know what I'm talking about. But now they've taken over interactive entertainment with this latest game, a fin sim they're calling Aquarium. Aye! What? I hear you gasp. You don't really think you're going to persuade me that building your very own aquarium and cleaning algae off fish tanks is a cool way to spend your day, are you? Well, I was going to try, but 2 hours into the game and the stupid fat kids wandering around eating ice cream, donning speech bubbles that said, "I'm happy" or "fun," even when I'd forgotten to put any actual fish in the tanks, were really beginning to piss me off. Brought to you by Electronic Arts, the publishers behind smash hit Simulations, Theme Park World, and The Sims, this game should have had equal appeal. But with too little irony or humour, this was just no fun for grown-ups. I went in open-minded, after all. No smooth Bond film was complete without evil villains and their evil fish tanks. I did the pointy-clicky thing, but as soon as a game starts to feel like work, I'm not happy. It's your basic Sims setup. You have a certain amount of money to spend on tanks, staff, equipment, and of course, fish. However, don't get too carried away. I spent all my money and completely forgot to mend and repair the filtration device, pump, generator, and thermostats, which is probably why they blew up and killed my fish. fun. If you can be bothered to wade through all the info, you will become the Grand Lord Fishmaster of all things scaly. If you can be bothered. If you stick to it and start making money, you'll get the odd dolphin to train. Whoop-de-doo! You can go out and catch your own fish or buy them off traders. But at first, all that's up for grabs are grey mullet-type things. I guess I'm being cynical. It's good to learn stuff, but I am not a 10-year-old girl in need of a hobby, nor am I a dissatisfied dad in need of a career change. I'm a victim of 3-second culture, and managing a posse of poissons just doesn't ring my bell. Aquarium is out for PC heads only now.
Well, at the end of the last century, we previewed some most exciting footage promised to us from the makers of the Final Fantasy series.
The Bouncer was touted as the PlayStation 2's answer to Shenmue, and from what we saw, ooh, it looked bad.
What the?
We've been thirsting for more ever since.
And it looked like our prayers have been answered.
Sour face, you're scaring away the customers.
Yeah, I'm a high-tech bouncer with horny hair.
Yeah.
Sure is weird weather for spring.
Okay, that means something good is gonna happen. There, you see, we've got aliens out on the tiles tonight. It's cool.
Hi, boss.
Boring.
Dominique, he's been waiting for you.
Who cares?
Good morning.
What happened to the Matrix moves, the throwing of chairs, the 7-against-1 fighting action?
Where were you? You're late.
We've been waiting a year and a half, and all we get is some S Club 7 afterthought on a bouncer's birthday.
When's your birthday?
Sion, it's your shift.
And now it looks like an episode of Dynasty.
Oh, quick, sing the theme tune.
Well, I can't remember it.
Hope it's not all puckered up pixels with no place to party.
Then that means today's your first anniversary as a bouncer.
We'll just have to wait till we get code and let you know.
Here, I got this for you.
If you think you've seen better FMV footage that blows this stuff out of the water, then why not vote for it in our top FMV chart?
Even if you think the game is completely crap, but the FMV is worthy of this, our very own Bits Award, then do let us know.
The FMV with the most votes will be played on a future show.
Simply log on to our website and click on the link and then place your vote. The address is coming up soon.
Enough of this mellow shite. Video games aren't supposed to be relaxing. They're not supposed to induce lethargy and complacency. They're not here to chill you out.
No, they're here to make you jump and scream and shout and bite and kill!
So we've chosen the most frenetic computer games of all time to give you the inspiration to drop-kick the chillum trip out of the door and give you an adrenaline hit like you've never experienced before. Yeah!
Hold on to your G-force, because this is our top 5 caffeinated games.
Bring it on, sister.
Okay, so you can forget the caffeine and bring on the Valium if you attempt to play this game online. The lag is so bad. Roll on broadband for the whole world. Until then, just stick Choo Choo Rocket on at home and get down to some serious cat and mouse games with your mates. You'll soon find yourself in need of a little extra help to get twitching on those controls. Super speedy catch the mouse, avoid the catspialidocious. One for hand-eye brain coordination, so go for a double espresso to give you some zing!
Just like the real thing, this is a game about going around and round and round and round and round and round and round some more. The same track, the same car, the same trees, the same people watching the same sounds. Oh yes, if you do play this game, you'll need a little stimulation, especially if you're on the real-time 24-hour mode. Freak! Buy yourself a dodgy baseball hat with a strap-on beer holder, swap beer for Drakkar Noir Cafe, attach pizza to face, glue thumb to X button.
In space, no one can hear you scream. Sadly, the same isn't true in our overpopulated, densely packed cities. Scream, and the whole estate screams with you. Beware then playing Martian Gothic too late at night. With its real actor voiceovers, gripping storyline about deadly viruses in space, and enough scare-you-stiff zombies to give George Romero a Woody, you know you aren't going to want to sleep after this one. The nightmares will come. You're better off with a heavy dose of dark roast, super strong instant coffee by the spoonful.
The ultimate sneak 'em peek 'em up might not be an immediately obvious choice for our top 5 caffeinated games, but its totally addictive gameplay has that just one more quality that gets the likes of gambling junkies hooked to one-armed bandits. Solid Snake will hold your hand through the night. making sure you stay glued to the TV screen poltergeist style until the first rays of dawn and beyond. A pseudo cappuccino from a Yankee coffee house is recommended to keep you alert.
Feed me.
They say fish only have a 6-second memory, which is pretty convenient, seeing as all they do is open and close their mouths.
Feed me.
And occasionally shit.
Yeah, those long stringy ones that hang around for ages.
We're getting off the point now. You, on the other hand, are going to need a longer concentration span if you want to get the most out of the first few hours of your brand new seaman. He does nothing for so long that you might just fall asleep and miss the only interesting thing he does for days. Try a latte for prolonged mental activity.
While the superpowers of planet Earth are being distracted by the biotechnological weaponry and nano-industrial knickknacks that you'll find in the real world, something dark and deadly is happening in the virtual one. Oh yes, Diablo 2, the chart-topping sequel to the online universe of Diablo, has been witness to the first online mass murder. Going down!
And he shall make war upon the heavens.
While the big boys are away, the hackers will party. The game, which is no stranger to fiendish pursuits like possession, slaughter and gnome cursing, suffered greatly when diabolical hackers entered into its sacred gaming zone and hacked and slashed and hacked and slashed and hacked until most of its star characters were reduced to a pixelated, bloodied pulp.
Which was a bit of a shock to the innocents who found their beloved Amazons and barbarians pushing up daisies next time they logged on.
Blizzard Entertainment were quick to resolve the breach of security and promised to reinstate all the dearly departed.
Those involved have been thrown to the wolves.
Oh.
And did you know Baldur's Gate 2 has hit the top spot in the South African chart, just barely knocking off, wait for it, Norton Antivirus off its healthy perch.
But for all you vaccine junkies out there, rest assured that Norton's not just happy with the number 2 slot, it's also in at number 10. Yes, the upgrade is sneaking in there for its own little shot at glory.
And if you thought that was enough madness and frivolity for one chart, then you're wrong, because there's more. Those South Africans sure know how to have a good time. Coming in at number 8, just behind the Encarta 2001 reference suite, is Desktop Publisher.
Hold it back, folks!
They're just too crazy!
And now it's time for our competition.
And this week you can win this Blade Bundle.
All you have to do is answer this simple question.
Right. New Year's resolutions are meant to last all year, but it's around about now that most of us give up. So what you need to do to win tonight's prize is come up with 3 video game characters, then give them each a life-transforming resolution, and then tell us why they couldn't stick to it. Be as wild as you fancy. Give us a giggle, and you'll be laughing.
All you gotta do is send your witty answers in via our website at www.forlater.com/bits.